So, good afternoon. It's Friday afternoon. It's September 16th, and this is the first of the Hostos Student Leadership Academy Friday Ambassador Workshop Series. I want to thank all of you for being here and being here on time. We're still checking some folks in as we go through this, and we're still in Zoom for the moment. I appreciate you being flexible, working with us in the best way that we can work, and I look forward to talking to you, hearing your questions today, and as we move forward over the course of this semester and this year and forever, how long you're going to be a member of the Academy, which basically is forever, unless you don't want to be. I hope we're on a journey that's actually going to be very inspirational and get you to the places that you truly want to be. And that's kind of why we're here, and that's what the Leadership Academy is. So we have new folks here, we have some returning folks here, and I want to just give you sort of an overview of what it is that you signed on for. And then we should have one of our alumni here to speak a little bit about it. And then we have some members here who have served previously, and we have some folks who are new who may have some questions. So I want to honor that everybody has a different perspective, and I want to give everybody chances to speak. So I'm not going to talk too much. But since some of you don't know everything about this, and you've only read emails, or maybe you stopped by the office and you spoke to me for a little while, I want to sort of give you an idea of what the mission is and what we're working towards. So back when I joined Hostos in 2007, this is going to be my 15th year at the college, they had started something called the Hostos Student Ambassador Program. And the idea was that student government was doing a good job and making an impact, but there are only 16 members of the student government. So there was an idea to have student leaders in another organization that could make impact upon the college and in the community, who were not necessarily in student government, but were actually making a contribution of their own. And so they formed this society, which was basically students who had a 3.25 GPA or above, and were committing to doing lots and lots of volunteer service for the college. When I came on board in that November, those wonderful 27 people that they had were great, awesome individuals, and I still stay in touch with most of them to this day. But it didn't seem like the right mission. And so we started immediately to change what we were doing. And so we made the mission about getting everybody involved. And that meant it wasn't about GPA. It wasn't about what your background was, what your leadership experience was. It wasn't about whether you were a freshman or whether you were graduating in the next semester. It was about opening doors for everybody and having everybody participate. And so that's what we've done. And over this period of time, pre-pandemic, let's say, we had a wonderful sequence of events and activities that we were doing. And at our height, probably just around 2018, 2019, we were doing anywhere from 52 to 99 volunteer projects a year. That was projects on campus, off campus, running through fall, winter, spring, and summer. And when I say volunteer projects, I know that it gets scary for some of you who are like, oh my God, 99 projects. I can't do 99 projects. I have this and that. Well, that's not how it works. The Leadership Academy is about a community. You are the community. And the idea is that amongst you, that there will be like 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 or whatever the number is at a particular volunteer activity at any point, and you'll be representing. We don't expect that 160 people, which is what the number was when I checked it yesterday, are going to be at every activity. And 160 people doesn't include our alumni or other members of the community that want to participate in the things that we do. So we do those activities, we give back to the community, and we kind of do it with a smile. And part of it is that the flexibility of what we do, it makes everybody realize that there's value in it. And when you get out there and you're actually doing something without expecting anything in return, the realization comes to you very quickly that you are praised and lauded for your efforts. And so the great thing that you will realize over time is that every volunteer activity that you engage in puts you in a better position for a number of different things: scholarships, internships, jobs, transfer to whatever college you dream of going to, or just the college that you want to get your bachelor's degree in, or your master's degree, or your PhD, or MD, or your ED. Um, and I follow you along the way. So when I said, right before the recording, that you're kind of committing to this for life, yeah, in one way, yes. The way that you're committing to me and the program, we make the commitment back to you for the rest of your journey. So as you go along your way, as you begin to explore your options, I'm going to be your first recommendation all the time, and I will be there to support you throughout your journeys and take phone calls about you and give you any support that I can, including connecting you with people who may be in industries and or organizations that you may want to join as you pursue your career goals. So, for instance, Yasir and I were in my office the other day, and I told him about a former member of our group who's currently an anesthesiologist, a doctor. He graduated from Hostos, and he went off to Stony Brook, and then he went to Albany Med, and now he's a doctor. And that's a dream that Yasir has. And so we're going to connect them by text message so that Yasir and our former doctor can now talk, have conversations, and maybe get some guidance and support on the road to where Yasir wants to go. And I hope that I'll be able to do that for all of you in any variety of ways that you think. Some people join the academy, they already know somebody who is part of the academy, and that person's already giving them guidance, so I don't have to make the connection. But the reason why they came to join the academy is because they knew it, right? So we have Sashi, who knew a former member of our group, who gives her guidance and support, best friend, I believe. And so they already have the connection. But I hope to make those connections for you as we go along. The second part of of what we do is the workshop series, which is this little space that we have, which is a really small space compared to our original space, which was the student lounge. So for all of those years that I said, leading up into the pandemic, we would meet on Friday afternoons in the lounge. We'd have a speaker, and we'd be able to have these conversations. We'd be able to do these exercises. We'd be able to sort of think about leadership from a lot of different perspectives. And I miss it, and I'm really hopeful that we'll get back to it, and it could be sooner than later. For the time being, this is our space, this little Zoom area, and we still have the talented individuals and speakers who will come and speak to you, who I want to give a lot of praise to, because 2 years ago, when we started into this pandemic, the Academy actually didn't have a fund, so we didn't have money to pay for our speakers to come. And our speakers did it voluntarily because they were so inspired by the community that you have now joined and have become a part of. So we will continue on our mission here with those folks. And what I can tell you about the people who will come and speak to you over the next couple of weeks and into the winter and the spring semester is that they're dedicated. They're dedicated to a craft, they're dedicated to their communities, and they're dedicated to sort of give you the best leadership training that they can give you. And leadership, in a lot of ways, is a lot of different things. So everybody who's in this room doesn't think of leadership the same way, and neither do our speakers. So it's a broad-based approach. We look at things from a very a perspective of a prism, where you take this brilliant light and it splits up into the rainbow colors. That makes everything an opportunity for everybody to sort of explore what it is that they want to do with their lives and make an impact upon the society that they live in. And so through the volunteering and through the workshop series, we do that. There's two other elements that we sort of concentrate on that come up, and as we move towards the post-pandemic era, I truly believe that they're going to be part of what we do this year, and that's we're going to attend some conferences. So we have participated in National Model United Nations. We did it for 10 years straight. The last year was a tough year because we still were stuck under the pandemic rules. This year, it's probably going to be another situation in which we're going to not be able to do it, where we go to Washington, D.C. For the fall. because there's some issues with how everything's going to move in terms of payments for things. But when we get to the spring semester, there is a National Model United Nations in New York, and I definitely want to talk to all of you about that and the possibility of uh, talking about leadership from the world view, the world perspective. A number of the students who've been part of the academy over the last 15 years have come from the world, right? Not just from our little siloed area, which is a beautiful place, which is the South Bronx, and where I'm from, and where I was born, and where I was raised, and where I lived for 50 years. But also, we have people who come from all over the world, from the different corners of the globe. And so, part of what leadership training is to train people and to provide them with opportunities to address matters of global perspective. And so, hopefully, we'll return to that. We also are representatives, you are, I am, representatives of the college and the university. So you're part of Hostos and you're part of CUNY. And so in the wintertime, there will be a conference, and then in the springtime, there will be another conference where there will be a request for students to go to Albany, New York, to speak to the legislators, to speak to the politicians, and to explain to them what the concerns are of the college. Meaning, what are the concerns of the student body? What do the students want to see happen? What funding should be put into CUNY so that it makes it easier for you to study at Hostos, or to study when you go for your bachelor's degree or PhD or anything else that you plan to go for along route to your career. And so those are going to be the conversations that we have in Albany, and there will be people who go to that. We also have done a conference in Colorado. One of the thing that's great, one of the wonderful things that's great about us is that we have our honor code. It was established before I got to the college, but we hold it as the driving force of what we do. And so we are one of the few colleges that gets to go to a military academy every year, send some students to a conference, and it's because we have an honor code, and it's because they respect the work that we do as an organization. And so that event will be coming up in February as well, and I hope we're going to go back to that. We have been doing it virtually for the last 2 years, so that's something to look forward as well. And then the last thing, and there may be other conferences as well. I'm exploring some other options for you. And one of the great things about this program, and I hope you all hear this. This is really one of the most important things I can say today. One of the most important things about the Leadership Academy is your ideas matter. So if you have an idea about a conference that you want to go to, you have an idea about a volunteer activity you want to participate in, you have an idea about a speaker that you want to see come to the campus or visit us in Zoom, you have the right and the responsibility to bring that information to me and let me know that you want to see that happen. And I will do my very best to make it happen. And that's kind of how we've done all of those things over the years. A lot of the speakers have been recommended by somebody. A lot of the volunteer activities that we've done have been recommended by a member of the academy, and we've instituted them. So we go back year in, year out to do those activities. But we can always add more. We can always change the calendar. And it's to meet what you want to do, how you want to make an impact. So that would be true of conferences as well. And if you have an idea about that, please let me know. The fourth element of the Leadership Academy that's really important and is part of our core value is we try to do a retreat every year. And the idea of the retreat is to actually go out there, get away from New York City, the loud noises, the massive amount of people, and take 50 folks out into the woods, not to sleep in the woods. There's a cabin and a refrigerator and ovens and things, and all the things that you need, but to go out there and to sort of have an experience where we explore the world, in its most natural form, and we challenge ourselves. So we have a high ropes course, a low ropes course, a 60-foot climbing wall, some boating and some archery and some other things, scavenger hunt. And we were doing that pretty regularly for about 10 years before the pandemic. And I really hope that we're going to go back out to do that because it actually reaffirms everything that we're going to do that leads up to it. All the workshops, all the volunteer activity, finally getting out there and sort of working as a team. You're going to have it all built in because you're going to have done it. But really getting out there and working as a team and sort of challenging yourself and seeing how far you can make it. Across a rope bridge, or how high you can get on a 60-foot climbing wall, or who you trust, to catch you when you're falling backwards. all that good stuff. It's a wonderful experience. I think most of the alumni who were able to do it over the years would say it's like the most enriching experience that they've had, and it's one of the greatest memories that they have of the Leadership Academy. So that's the core. And then there are a lot of other things. Some of you already have signed up to do some of these things. So some of you are on committees for the college, the Civility Committee or the Faculty Disciplinary Committee. And again, it goes back to the basic value, the notion that there was a lot of work that needed to be done by students, and that every student should have an opportunity to be able to do this. And so as members of this society, whether you're a Hostos student ambassador, an SOS team member, an emerging leader, a volunteer corps member, a member of Phi Theta Kappa, a member of the SGA, you all have the possibility to make an impact, play a role, and be a voice for the rest of the student body at our college, and they need it, especially now. Some of you have only been to the campus a few times. Some of you don't know that there are clubs on campus. Some of you don't know where to go for certain things. And there's a lot of other students who are like that, who don't even know that the Leadership Academy exists, that don't even know that SGA exists. And they're going to need you to be their voice and be their support system, and to bring them in to places where they can get the answers that they need to get. So I'm the first point of that, the little CUNY star that we run from, meaning when you need answers, when you need support, you can always come to me, which is why, when I send out that volunteer email, you have my cell phone number. That's my real number. Try not to, text me at 1 o'clock in the morning, because I may actually want to go to sleep at some point. But for the most part, I'm pretty good at responding very quickly. And there's definitely some people on here who have texted me at 11 o'clock at night and 12 o'clock at night and gotten a response. And so that I'm there. That means whether it's during the school day or whether it's during the weekend, whether it's when we have a volunteer activity or we're in a conference or anything, you can reach out to me and I'll try to get you the answer if I don't have it myself. And I'll put you in the right place. The other thing is, my office is open. So for now, because of the way that things are set up, I'm there every week, Monday to Wednesday, and every other week on a Thursday. Because we're doing this virtually for the moment, on Fridays, I'm always going to be remote, just because it makes it easier for me to set everything up and be able to communicate with you. But on any of those other days, you're more than welcome to come into the office. There is an outer office, which actually belongs to all of you. It's a space. There's a couch there. There's a couple of chairs there. And there's a whole bunch of mailboxes there, which have not been used for a really long time because of the pandemic and not everybody being around. But they're there, and that's your office. The door that leads inside, that's the office. That's the door to my office, and I'm in there. I try to keep that door open as much as possible now, and you're more than welcome to stop by and ask any questions that you have. And the other things, I have some stuff for you. So I have some t-shirts for you. I have your pins. So every group represented has a pin: the ambassadors, SOS, emerging leaders, not the volunteer corps, sorry, and PTK has their own set of things. And then we have t-shirts that represent the groups as well. So you can always stop in, and I'll give you those little trinkets. As we go through the semester, I hope I'll be able to get some more things. We'll see how that goes. They've made purchasing things a little bit more difficult these days, but I'm working on it. And so I hope I get to see you. I hope to get to see you in person. And if for some reason you can't find me and you text me and you didn't get a response for some reason, it's probably because I'm in a meeting somewhere doing something. But you can stop by the SGA information booth. And the folks that are working there work for me for the most part, or they're volunteers or members of the SGA. And all of those folks will know who I am and know how to get in touch with me, or know where I went, or whatever the situation may be. So that being said, I don't want to be just the voice. Fevi hasn't gotten here yet. I'm going to send her a little text message here. But I want to give you, here she is right now. So how you do it. It's just like magic. You say the name and the person appears. So what I thought would be good, since Fevi just signed on, is to have you not hear this just from me, but to maybe hear from one of our alumni who actually did just about everything that I just mentioned. So Fevi started when she was very young in the academy. She found us. She decided, okay, I'm going to volunteer. Started volunteering, started attending workshops, eventually became part of the student government, eventually became a vice president in the student government, was the president of Phi Theta Kappa, and then graduated from Hostos, pursued her BA, and is now a professional. But she still makes contributions to us. And we were sitting at a wedding a couple of weeks ago from another one of our members with a lot of other members from the 2013 group. There's about 10 folks there who were from that group. And we were talking and reflecting, and I think that was sort of her inspiration to join us today to sort of give you reflections from her perspective on what it means to be a part of the Leadership Academy. And so I think I'll give you the floor, Fevi, to just speak. I sort of gave them an overview of just about everything in the last few minutes, about 20 minutes. So feel free to reflect on your experiences and say what you got to say.
You're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hi, thank you. So hi again. You guys could call me Fevi. I graduated Hostos on 2017, but I was there for a couple of years. Life is a roller coaster. Once you start, you think you're gonna finish in 2 years, but then it's not 2 years. It might take longer. But as I say to everyone, everybody's journey is different. So just take it one day at a time. Yeah, so I started with the Leadership Academy. I joined through a friend also. I am originally from the Dominican Republic, and my English wasn't perfect because I graduated high school back home. But then when I joined the leadership, that gave me the inspiration and tools to start speaking in public. I found people just like me that was starting their degree. As a matter of fact, I graduated with a liberal arts and science degree. But then I also did my licensed practical nursing, and then I went to a different schools to do my register nursing. But at this point, I have graduated about 3 times, I would say, and I haven't changed my graduation ring from Hostos because Hostos was home for me. People got you everywhere. You might complain now, but trust me, it gets worse, crazy when you go out there. So then the Leadership Academy, I started volunteering. I started making friends. As a matter of fact, that I've been in this country for 12 years. And I could say that most, if not all my real friends are from the academy. That's why he said, when we met at the wedding, it was so exciting to see them all. We haven't seen each other in years, but we follow up in social media. They all did their own thing, also graduated. But volunteering was the best thing that I could do. I'm the type of person that I like to give back to the community. So we were on parks, we planned treats on Saturday morning or on a Sunday. We participated in the cancer walk, Alzheimer walk, and my grandmother from my dad's side was a cancer survivor until last year she passed away, but it wasn't due to cancer. So it was very emotional for me to go to these walks and meet all these people and support them. Even though she wasn't here, she was back in the Dominican Republic. We also went to, then I got to know about student government through the Leadership Academy because Jason is one of their advisors. I started as a senator, and then I went up and I was the vice president of academic affairs. So being part of the Student Government and Leadership Academy took me to Albany. Like, they pay for everything, guys. So you guys just had to volunteer your time. So for 3 days, we go allocating for money to politicians. I got to know Bill de Blasio, which was the mayor back then. Ruben Diaz, all these people that are out there. You could talk to them personally. What else? Let me see. We also went to Colorado Springs. to the Air Force Academy. You get to sleep with the cadets. I don't know if I pronounced it correct. But people who are they are trying to become pursue a military career. For about 3 days also, 3 or 4 days, I don't remember. And all these events, you get to know the people, you make connections. Let's say right now you don't know. I knew since I was an 8th grader that my calling was in medical field. I actually wanted to be a doctor first, but then I chose nursing when I got here. We're not here to hear my personal story. We're here to hear my journey in hostels. And if you don't know, let's say what you want to pursue, trust me, maybe not the academy, but you will meet the right person that's going to inspire you to choose a career. Like my sister didn't know she wanted to be a psychologist until she joined one of the leadership groups in BMCC, which is also part of CUNY, Borough Manhattan Community College. So it's definitely a plus. You might feel like it is a free time, but me personally was escape from everything that I was going through personally. Like you get to know friends, you get to do volunteer service, you get to know about scholarships. I won a few scholarships through the leadership. Sometimes you just have to write an essay. Sometimes you just have to have certain GPA. And Jason, we share with you guys all of this information. And some scholarships are specific to, let's say, your degree. So some scholarships are specific to single mothers, which you couldn't, like, if you're not, then you couldn't apply. So it helps you and it gives you opportunity to do a lot of things. Again, it's free, but it takes you places. The student government is not. So when you hear about the applications, I know it's different stories, but the student government, they give you stipends because you have to be willing to dedicate certain time, probably like twice a month for meetings. And then inside meetings, it's like probably 4 a month you guys meet. And then you get to make decisions in the college, make a change. You contribute to the money that they give to the clubs and they do their activities also. But at the end of the day, the academy and the student government work together. So I don't know. It's the best thing that could ever happen to me. Like, I'm not trying to say I'm not as famous as they said, but if you look up my name in Hostos, you could see all the activities that I got to do. And I only got stipend for the student government. And it's just fulfill me. It's just, if it makes you happy to help other people. Like we even went to how you call that, Jason? The one that we do in December it's not the pantry. Like we give toys to kids, and also we feed those in need, the scholar that way. And it's just, I don't know if it was because it goes along with my career, but it makes me happy to see other happy. And I'm telling you, it's all about connections. After you go to these conference, you get to know people from all 24 colleges of CUNY, Hunter, City College. Like, let's say you are planning to go to one of those colleges after you graduate from Hostos, you might have a connection there. Because, yes, it's great to have great grades, but it's also good to have a hand that could help you through, because you're not going to find what you have in Hostos in other places. And again, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm saying it because when I was in your place, I wish I would have found somebody to guide me. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'm here. Again, Febby. I don't know what else to tell you, but I did so many things. And Academy is my family.
Thank you, Febby. So
Thank you.
just
Well, you know what the stipends are for, though?
Say it again.
You know what the stipends you said are for, or
that's for the student government.
because I know
Yeah.
Rhonda told me about it, but
Yeah, that's for the student government. But let me tell you, I graduated 5 years ago from Hostos. I'm pretty sure it's not the same as now. Yeah.
yeah, I know.
Mhm.
I haven't asked Rhonda. She told me about the stipends though, but I didn't ask her specifically what it's for and stuff. For some reason, I forgot to ask her.
Yeah, you can reach out to Jason too after we're done with the meeting.
Yeah, I'm actually in student leadership with Jason, the emerging leadership.
Oh, emerging leaders.
Yeah,
I started
I
as
like it.
emerging leader too. Then I went out because I started as emerging leader because I thought I might not have that time that they are asking me, because you have to do certain hours throughout the semester in order for you to stay with your with the American leader title. But then I was doing so many hours when I was like, I could become an ambassador. So to be an ambassador, it requires you to have at least 40 hours, I believe, throughout the whole semester. And trust me, Jason could tell you, I was doing doubles, like, because I just went for the activity because I love to help and I love to see my friends because I already make friends and I love to help other people. And it was just great.
Yeah, you lucky you graduated. I'm
You'll
almost
be
there
there
too.
too.
Yeah, because I started here August 29, 19. It's just I was taking remedial classes then in 2020, the pandemic. That's what's taking a while now.
Yeah, but if it helps you, I'll tell you. I started hostess in 2011 and I graduated in 2017. So just so you could see that yes, you might see people, yeah, they graduated, they have their degrees today and they doing this and that. But everybody's journey, trust me, everybody has a heart at some point. And not everybody finishes at the same time they say they're gonna finish. Because life happens.
Yeah.
Once you say you're going to college, life happens. I don't know how. It's just going sideways. You just gotta keep pushing. And nobody's gonna ask you when you graduate, oh, so for how long were you there? No. It might take you 7 years, 2 years, 3 years, but that person's journey is not yours. You might have somebody that support you financially, maybe that person doesn't. Maybe that person has somebody that pays everything for them,
Right.
and then you have to work 2 jobs to go to college. But hey, that's what makes your journey worth it. And this is when you graduate, you're going to say, I did it, and it's gonna make it worth it.
Yep. Right.
So yeah, thank you, Fevi, and thank you, Felicia. So just want to capitalize, just close up on a couple of things, then I'll open this up completely to questions. So just to say about the military academy, so it's we're recording, so make sure that we say the right thing. So you sleep in the barracks with the cadets. You have your own bed and things like that. But it's to have the full experience of what the cadets are going through, and to really sort of get to know them. The volunteer activities, some of the things that Fevi mentioned, where we do work with Pot Soup Kitchen. We do work with the New York Common Pantry, which is those are food related things giving out to people who need food. We also work in the wintertime. We try to go to Restoration Plaza in Brooklyn for their annual event where they give out toys to children. We do also have tried to go to the Senior Citizen Center in Chinatown to sing to seniors at Christmas time. We also try to work with our own children's center at Hostos to give those children some books and presents during the holidays. So we spread the love. We get around the 5 boroughs, we get around the local area, and we try to give back in a lot of different ways to different groups. And as Fevi mentioned, you've already seen in the volunteer stuff, the Alzheimer's walks are coming up, the breast cancer walk is coming up. And these are annual things that we try to do, but I didn't come up with them. Somebody brought them to me back in the day, and I said, "Well, let's do it." And then we go out and do it. And they like us so much that they invite us back, and they try to, they ask us to bring more folks. So that's why we become part of these programs. But I want to give everybody a chance if they have questions to ask either Fevi or I. And I guess the easiest way to do it is like if you can use the hand raise function, so that we don't get chatter on top of each other. And Kevin found the hand raise function before everybody else, so he can ask a question.
Hello, everyone. So I I heard a bit about what you were saying about like a trip upstate, some outdoorsy stuff, and I know the pandemic kind of put a slow to that. But if that was to come back, would that be spring? And that's basically it. Would it be in the spring?
It's usually February, right, Jason?
Oh, February. Oh no.
So he said upstate, but I think he may have been referencing the retreat. Kevin, was it the conference in Albany or was it the retreat that's in
The retreat. The retreat I was talking about. Yeah.
So Fevi's actually the expert at this because in the beginning of stages of the retreat, we used to do it with athletics, and we did that for about 3 years.
Yeah.
And athletics didn't want to participate anymore because they had new leadership in that group. And so Fevi and I met. We had to do it, and the student government actually became our partner. and so she's the person who actually gave us the name SOAR. So maybe she can tell you a little bit about the retreat, which happens in spring. We try to do it like right around, the end of April, early May, so that it's not too cold. But right towards the end of the semester.
Yeah, so the retreat, it's awesome. So the reason why it's done April, May also is because you almost done with at least past midterms, you could still have good grades and the weather, because you do a lot of outside activities. Um, yeah, we, how can I say that? Let me see. I'm sorry, my mind is going like 100 miles an hour. Yeah, so boys with boys, girls with girls, but then at night in a certain time of the day, we all meet, we all share experience, we all get to know each other. We get to do activities together, we do teamwork activities. Then in those retreat, you get to know I would say I don't find the right words. Like, you get to know yourself. I would say that, because they sometimes they do group activities, and I'm the one not to be patient. And I wanted to finish faster. And then you can see how you work with others. You could see what you bring to the group, what other brings to you. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Again, they pay for everything. All you have to do is dedicate your time throughout the year, because when that link pops up for you guys to sign up, it's not only Jason who gets to pick you, because there's a whole team. So they all gonna see who did their work throughout the year, and it's like, oh, he deserves to go. So you guys do your volunteer activities. You don't have to go to each and every single one of them. But then that's how you accumulate your time. Let me see. I don't remember the names of the activities, but yes, we did kayaking also, because you get free time. You don't have to be in groups at all times. Oh my God.
No, you don't have to be specific. I like all outdoor everything, so it's all good. I'm just as I signed up for the academy, my only concern was time. I'm an engineering student, and I feel like the course load is pretty rough. So it's just like managing the time between now and end of semester to be able to get in enough volunteer time, and so
Trust me.
that's it.
You'll find it once you like it, because a couple of my very close friends were in engineering, also civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and I might not know from the inside the experience, but I do know that for you guys it gets pretty crazy also, like nursing. But even the Friday workshops, you don't have to go from 3:30 to 5. You can't. Some people have class at 4:30 and they go for an hour and they have to leave. And we understand, because they already said, and even Jason will give you whole credit, because again, you go into class. But if you show that you go into class, so but you could, there's activities that you could do on Saturdays, on Sundays, like the Alzheimer work and the cancer walk. It's also on a Sunday. So if you guys are off from work, you guys could go. Volunteer activities sometimes popped up even in the same college. Like you might have a job fair, and we want to have a table to get to like spread the word and show other students what the academy is. So you might take 30 minutes there and 1 hour here, even being in the same college, and then you go to the computer lab, then you go to the library to study. So trust me, you'll find the time. But it's understandable that you might not be present in each and every one of them, and you don't have to.
Thank you, Fab. So our next question, S. King.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I think she's muted. Let me see.
No, she's not muted.
I can't see. Oh yeah, there you go.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. My name is Shaquasia. This is my first semester at Hostos, and like From this meeting, before I was going to Hostos, I was doing a lot of community work. So like hearing about this group, um, it really ties into like a lot of the stuff I want to do outside of just my academic education. Like I do want to do more community and volunteer work. Earlier you said someone said that people are joining committees already. And I wanted to see how do I join on the committees and if we can participate as first semester students because there's a GPA requirement.
Okay, thank you so much. So the committee work that I mentioned is just student oriented. So you'll find, you know, Brian's here, Jose is here, Abby's here, Ashanti's here, a couple of the student government members are here, Leighton's here, obviously. Um, they have their own committees, and they have committees at the college that they have to serve on. But there are other committees that need to have student representation, and we are pretty much the first place that gets the request. So we just finished the Middle States Review, which is for the accreditation of the college. We sent names of students to serve on those committees. Before the semester begins, I get a request for the Faculty Student Disciplinary Committee. So if a student has an issue and there has to be a hearing, there have to be students on that committee. So I make recommendations of students for that. We also have a Civility Committee now on our campus, which I serve on the committee, and I submitted names of students who could serve on that committee. Throughout the semester, there will always be committees that come up through the college, which will ask for additional student voices to represent and to speak out on particular issues. They want to know what students want, what students need, what students are challenged by. And so your voices are really important. So what you'll find with me is I don't hide this. Everybody in the group gets the email. Those of you who've been getting the email since the beginning, you know this.
I still get those.
There you go. You saw those emails already. So you will get the emails. When you want to serve on that committee, you just need to let me know. And I will put you on a list and I will send it off to whoever is making the request. And they may have a cap. They may only be able to take 2 or 3. But they will let me know and they will let you know once they decide to choose you. And it doesn't always have something to do with your GPA, so don't worry about that. We also have some internal committees. So Fevi was a part of an internal committee in our group, which was for the retreat, right? And it's about planning. So it may just be simple, right? Kevin was like all excited that, you know, there's all this kind of stuff. But you guys also make some decisions about what we're going to do. You know, what will the t-shirts look like that we're going to order for the particular event? What kind of food and snacks are we going to bring for the houses that we're going to be in? What might our schedule be looking like, you know, throughout the day? What will we eat for dinner when we first get there, when we get off the bus? So there's a committee for that. There's a committee for our award ceremony at the end of the year, the passing the torch. There's a committee for our winter workshops, which will happen in January. And as Fevi mentioned, I try to be as flexible as possible. So we do programming as much as we possibly can do. So these fall workshops are very important, but there are some people who are going to have class during the time period. We want to make sure that we reach them as well. And so during January, we take the second week of January every year to like kick off the year the right way. And from 9 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we offer workshops. Now that doesn't mean you have to be there from 9 to 4, but we offer it to everybody so that they can have some leadership experience too, so that they can touch base with some of the folks who come and speak as well. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for committee work as well. And so when I'm straightforward, I tell everybody, this is what's available. I don't hide anything from everybody. I don't do like secret meetings and like, okay, you're the guy I want, you're the woman I want to do this thing. Everybody gets the email, everybody gets the opportunity. Same thing with scholarships, same things with internships. You guys got an internship thing this week. I send it to everybody. And all you have to do is say, I'm interested. Can you tell me more about it? Can you put my name in? Or how do I put my name in? And I'll tell you exactly what to do. And because it's open. So it doesn't matter whether you're an emerging leader and you're a freshman, or you're an ambassador and you've been here for 2 years and you're about to graduate. Everybody's equal. Everybody gets the same information. Everybody has the same opportunities. And that's what was lacking when I came 15 years ago, because like I said, you had to have a 3.25 GPA and you had to, you know, commit to doing 40 hours of community service, or you couldn't be part of the Leadership Academy. Well, we broke that down really quickly because I said, I'm not, there's no, you know, we're only going to have 27 people. It's like, we're never ever going to have anybody else. And so there's 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 students at the college. We need to reach out to more students and give them the opportunity to speak, be representative, and to make an impact on the world and the society. Okay, Fevi, go ahead. I talked too much.
Something that I wanted to add, it might not be related to what Jason just said, but on those workshops that he's mentioning in January, and same thing for the Friday workshops, Jason takes it personal, and he takes a motivational speaker almost every Friday, or we also have something to do. It's not like you're just gonna go sit there and hear Jason talking all day. It's not happening. So maybe, again, as I said, maybe because I was going through a rough time in my life, for whatever reason, almost every Friday that I went to these workshops, the person that was speaking is like he was speaking to me. So it's very inspirational. I don't find the words to say, but I'm telling you, it's a good thing. And you guys participate in the activities. It's not just talking. Today's because it's like an info section, but when these workshops starts, we do group activities. They try to make it entertaining. And again, if you feel like it's not for you, once you go to 1 to 2 or 3 workshops, then you just, nobody's obligated to go. But I'm pretty sure that most of you is gonna like it.
Thank you. Any other questions from anybody? Everybody's shy.
That was me.
Yeah. So I'll just say one more thing about capitalize on what Fevi just said about the speakers. The one great thing, and like I said, there was that one year where we couldn't pay them and they actually came and volunteered their time. The one thing I can say about everybody that's going to come and speak to you this year is that they are committed to you. And so even beyond the borders of the conversations that we have in the workshops, I will say this over and over again, they will serve as tangential mentors to you. Meaning they can't be your mentor who's going to be there every week talking to you, but if you sign up and connect with them in their social media or email them, they'll respond to your questions. They'll get back to you. They'll tell you, this is the way I did this. This is the way that you can do this. This is the way you can get involved in this. And they will really try to put their best foot forward with you and support you in the best way that they can. And I don't bring back people who don't do that. It's not worth it, right? So if you're just coming to cash a check and give like a regular speech that sounds like a lot of other people, and that's not what this is about. And as Fevi said, it's about bringing in people who really do care, who really do understand, who come from similar backgrounds, similar experiences, speak to colleges and universities around the country and around the world, but understand that our little group, whatever the number is every year, is a special group that they can actually make an impact on, and they want to. And
Yeah. I'm sorry, Jason, but as a matter of fact, before I forget, as he mentioned international, trust me, he is not making it look big. And I'm gonna share a personal example since now everything is fine. Part of the challenges that I went through while being in Hostos, I had immigration issues. And through the Leadership Academy, that's how I got to know about student government and also Phi Theta Kappa. By that time, I was only a member. I wasn't the president yet. It was a couple of years later that I became the president of the chapter. But there was once that I got offered an internship in China, and it was related to science and nursing. And you have no idea how much I regret it that I couldn't, but because of my immigration issues. So I'm telling you, opportunities are out there, and it wasn't expensive. I don't even remember, but it wasn't expensive. Because they sponsor about 75% of the whole trip, just for you to go there, just because you have a good GPA, just because they want you there. And diversity, and you get to know other people, and you get to learn about what they have to offer. And I couldn't go, but that's as I'm saying, opportunities are out there. So I could have gone to China back then, before this COVID situation, but then I couldn't. But it was a personal situation that held me from going there, but opportunities are there.
Yeah, and I'll just say this, that I try to get everything. I don't try to overwhelm you with emails, so you know that you're going to get about 3 emails a week. So one of the things that you can try to do that makes it a little bit easier for me and allows me to share a lot more stuff with you is to sort of follow me in social media. So we do have a Hostel Student Leadership Academy Facebook page, which is where I post most, if not all, of the pictures that we take. But it's also where I can share a lot of different opportunities that are not Hostos based. So scholarships, internships, jobs, other opportunities. It's a great place to follow. You can also follow me. You're not going to see too much on there except a lot of little kids, and me trying to be a good dad. And we also have an Instagram page, which is Hostos SLA. And I will send you all these links, and I try to post some photos out there and share some information daily through that program, through the Instagram. We also have a Twitter, and we have LinkedIn, so that you can connect in a lot of different ways. And I'll talk more about that as we go through the semester. But it's a way to sort of like continually see a lot of the different opportunities that I won't be able to share just by email. Because if I'd shared everything by email, your mailboxes are already full. They're going to be much fuller. But so it's something to think about in terms of that. Not it's always great. The one I was talking to Fevi at the wedding, and I had seen her Instagram and see that she was traveling all over the world, and so I was just like trying to like you know get some of the sparkle from like all of the places
Ah,
that she had been to. And so the proudest things for me is to see the extraordinary accomplishments that you have after you leave Hostos. Not that the accomplishments at Hostos are I looked at, they're very important, and it's important to the college and the community and to all of you. But what you take out of that and then you put into the rest of your life is what I get to enjoy. It's the rewards that I reap, right? Because I get to see a United States diplomat, I get to see a doctor, I get to see a nurse, I get to see a head teacher, I get to see somebody who's in engineering, get a big job at the New York City Transit. I get people working, first woman working at a position at Ford Motor Company. All of these are people who actually came from the Leadership Academy. And just on a side note, because Fevi was mentioning something about it before in terms of relationships, and I don't expect this for everybody, but we have had like 4 different couples get married and have children with each other. It's
yep.
kind of the thing that happens, because people really care about each other and really work with each other on different things. Um, and so it's always nice to see that. I get to watch people have their families and grow up and get to know about the lives that they create together. So it's all positive stuff. And I'll go back to the key thing that maybe people can benefit from, right? So a lot of people walk into a room and like, well, what's in it for me? And at the end of the day, I think Fevi said it, and I'll say it, and some of the folks who have done it already will probably say the same thing. The reward is what you make of it. It's challenging yourself to be better at everything that you want to be better at. Nobody's going to tell you that there's one type of leadership. The Leadership Academy is not making you into politicians, not making you into officers, not making you into whatever it is that you may have a sense of what leadership is. Because leadership is about every little aspect of your life. Whether you're a mom and you're taking care of your kids, you're being a leader, or whether you're a teacher or you're a nurse or you're a doctor or you're an engineer or you're a fire person or you are doing anything in the world, you have the opportunity to lead and be responsible for others. And so that's kind of what we work on. So that's one. Two is volunteering will enrich your lives. Whether you believe that or not right now, I can't prove it to you on a Zoom call. But when you go there, when you give somebody who's hungry a plate of food, when you sing to a senior citizen who doesn't necessarily speak English, um, a Christmas song, when you give a child a toy, and I have a vision of Fevi giving out stuffed bears at one of the events to little kids who weren't going to get Christmas presents otherwise. When you do those things, it makes you different. It makes you a little bit better. than just about everything else that there is. And by the way, when scholarship folks look at recommendation letters, when they look at your applications, I'll tell you right now, the number one thing they're going to look for, what did you do? What did you give and not expect anything in return for? Where did
Yep.
you volunteer? And I'll tell you, those scholarship applications go up to the top of the list. I guarantee it, 100%. And then the final thing is, when we come together and we were back in our space and when we do these activities, it's about family. So I don't, I think Fevi will say this, and some of the folks who've been around me for a while will say that. I don't do this thinking that I'm your boss and that I give you orders and you do it, and if you don't do it, then you're out.
No.
Not like that. What I think of you as is my family. And from the moment we get to the place to the moment we leave, from every picture that I take of you, from every opportunity that we have to just talk on the side, to just have a little conversation, it's about family. Like I said, I lived in the Bronx for 50 years. I worked in the Bronx for most of that time as well. I still work and don't live because my wife forced me to move far, far away. But I still make that drive. I still look at that bridge in the morning that goes across the Grand Concourse, and I still think I have the greatest job in the world. And it's not about anything that they're paying me, which is not the goal of life, I think, for most of us. It's about the people that I get to engage with. And that's all of you. And when you hear me talk about you in front of other people, you will never hear me say, okay, well, these people work for me. It's the opposite. I work.
Jason is like the proudest dad ever. He was like, oh, she traveled, she's a nurse, she's this, she was amazing, she did this. And he would do the same for each and every one of the students in the Leadership Academy, that you feel like, stop. He will always speak good things about you. And a lot of people got jobs due through the activities that you guys did. And Jason speaking about you.
And
And when you need somebody for a recommendation letter, trust me, he will make sure he puts every little thing, every tiniest, smallest, the biggest, everything that you've done, it's gonna be on that letter. Making sure you get that job or you get whatever, like internship, whatever you try to get, Jason will give you that letter as detailed as he could be.
yeah, I mean, I always think that the letters of recommendation are really the heart of what I do. So I'm still writing letters of recommendation for people who I met in 2007 and 2011 and all the way up till now. And people have gone on to do extraordinary and are still in the journey to do that. I mean, just this summer I got to see somebody who graduated before Fevi, who's now at Georgetown University. He's going to become a diplomat. I wrote the letter of recommendation. We have another guy who started way back in 2007. He actually got 2 degrees at Hostos, went to Tufts University, and now he went to Arizona to become a medical doctor. I wrote the recommendation for that too. I'm not saying I'm the only recommender. There were other people, obviously, who recommended them as well. But I take great pride in the fact that I'm able to recommend you for the rest of your days. And you can just give me a call, a text message, and let me know that, you need it. And whether it's for, just to get a bachelor's degree in bachelor's degree program, to get a scholarship, or to get the job, or whatever it is. I mean, so one of Fevi's friends, Orlando, decided he wanted to be in the CIA. So I have to take all those crazy calls. They're not easy. When you're recommending a United States diplomat, or when you're recommending somebody for the CIA or for other special jobs in public life, I get those phone calls. I take those phone calls and I take them very seriously. And I can even tell you, once somebody called and gave me the wrong name, and I didn't know what the guy was talking about, but the student reached out to me and said that somebody was supposed to call. And so I actually called the guy back. I said, listen, you gave me the wrong name. I have to give you the recommendation for the person who you were supposed to call me about. And so I'll go as far as I possibly can to make sure that you get to the places that you need to go, or that you get places that you want to go. So just know that that's what you signed up for, and got a commitment from me from once you decide that you want to be part of this group. So if we don't have too many more questions, I'm not going to hold you because next week we go full tilt. Um, as I mentioned in the email, you saw the list of workshops so far for the first 3 weeks we're set. Brian Rashid next week, then Mars Bishop, and then Christina Marine, who's wonderful. They're all wonderful. I'm working on solidifying the rest of the calendar. It's part and parcel of what happens, but by Friday of next week, all of those workshop names and titles will be there, and you should be ready to see who is going to be coming and joining us for the fall. And then we're also going to have some partnerships with some of the entities of the college where you can earn some credits from that. And as the conferences come on board, I'll add those conferences as well. I mean, I've learned about a couple of them today. So we have another question, Veronica.
Yes, I have a question. I got an email about the Pi Data Kappa, but I don't know much about that. But can you please tell me more about the organization?
So with Phi Theta Kappa, and Fevi can speak on this as well because she served as the president of it. So we're linked somehow, some way. Everybody else gave up on Phi Theta Kappa, and they asked me to be involved, and so I decided that I would do it to try to keep it going on our campus. It's a national organization. It does have a demand for a particular GPA and credits. So you have to have finish 12 credits and have a 3.5 GPA for that. And it does have a fee that goes along with it. It's a one-time fee of $75 that covers the cost of allowing you to have access to a number of different scholarship opportunities that are only available to students who are in Phi Theta Kappa. I don't want to spend too much time on Phi Theta Kappa today, just because this is SLA. It's not to say that I can't answer any of those questions or that Fevi can't answer some questions now, but I don't want to confuse the two. Phi Theta Kappa, part of Leadership Academy, is that we give them the opportunities to do the volunteer work that they're required to do, and we support them as that email said, to make sure that they actually have embodied a club so that they have the funds that they need in order to do the things that they have to do. And we partner with them and the SGA at Thanksgiving time to do some giveaways of meals for people. So we'll be doing that, I hope, again this year. We'll see what Leighton and the rest of the team say. But Fevi, if you want to talk a little bit about Phi Theta Kappa.
Yeah, about Phi Theta Kappa, I want to add that once you pay the $75, but once you keep that GPA and after you graduate, you keep that for life. Like being a member, like the benefits of the membership, maybe not as a student, but yes, as an alumni. Even for your car insurance, once you get a car, the car insurance, I believe back then was a Geico. They give you discounts just because you're a Phi Theta Kappa member also. And it's just funny that we're talking about it. I have this in my desk. This medal, you remember, Jason? This medal was given to me at my graduation on 2017. It's from Phi Theta Kappa also. They give you a certificate once you join and a pin. Also volunteer activities. Jason is the ambassador of the chapter, as he says somebody they didn't want to do it anymore and he want to keep that alive. But again, Jason might do a whole info section on Phi Theta Kappa. But it's the only thing they ask you pretty much is just having a certain GPA. Back then was 3.5 and above. And then through them is that I was going to have the opportunity to go to China. They were paying most of it, but I couldn't go because of the personal issues that I told you. So every leadership group gives you, in terms of benefit, gives you similar and also different benefits. But again, don't do it just for the benefits, even though we all care about it. Do it because that's gonna fulfill you as when you help somebody else. Like when maybe somebody's even looking for an office that they don't know where what is it located, and when you're a new student, everything is frustrating. So just helping others and all these other benefits. I don't even know how I end up being presidents, vice presidents, and doing all these things. It's just I like to every time Jason sent an email, I'm like, okay, so hey, I qualify, so I could volunteer. And I started doing things. And when I graduated, I was like, well, wow, I did this. So yeah, make sure you enjoy it, not just the benefits, because then it's gonna be boring.
Yeah, so, and then just to capitalize on it, so Phi Theta Kappa, we're working on trying to open it a little bit early, but generally invitations go out right at the very end of September, early October, and it'll find you. So there's a list that's generated from the system, and you'll get a notification. And if you want to do it, you let us know, and then we follow up with you. But again, I think Fevi's right. I think, it's an opportunity program. It does have benefits, especially if you're in that category. You get free access to a couple of things that you would normally have to pay for when you're doing transfer. They also have their own scholarships, and they have scholarships that are available just built into every campus that you might want to go to. So these are things that you can also explore. But I'm going to put that to the side for the moment. Yeah, Kim.
I have a question. One of my questions that
I can barely
I've been
Kim, we
taking
can't hear you.
another.
Can you speak a little louder?
Okay, hold on, please. Like this semester, I was picked for another group or club, and I think it's the Amelia Club. And I read about it, and I know I'm supposed to go on meetings and stuff like that. But I just want to know more information about the clubs that's on at Hostos, because I know last year I was on that the S the SAG, and I really enjoyed that. Now I'm going into another club, and it's like um, I know there's a lot of opportunities at Hostos, but I get a little nervous when it's coming down to meeting people for the first time. And I'd like to know how to get over that nervousness. Like even when I was on the SAG and I was going to the meetings and everything, I really enjoyed it, but I was still kind of nervous meeting people. Even though I know I do good things on campus, I just get nervous when I meet people for the first time. It's like I'm meeting very interesting people, but then again, it's like either they graduate or I don't see them anymore, and I just want to get to know people better and work with them better, so I can be a more like positive person on campus.
So I'll talk about it, Jason. Hi Kim, Fabi again. I actually I feel identified by you because that was me when I got to this country. As I said in the beginning of my conversation, I moved here after high school. I didn't know a word in English, and I learned here. My I was just like you when like I talk a lot. I could say that much, but when I'm getting to know people, it's not nowadays, but back then it was very hard for me, especially I feel like people would judge my accent, and I didn't want to speak to others. I don't know how they were going to approach me and all of that. And after you get into the academy, after a few of these workshops and these people that Jason brings to speak to you guys, you'll find the power and you'll find the will to start conversations. Even hi, my name is Kim, and somebody be like, oh hey, so what's your degree? Trust me, it's gonna help you grow as a person also. So that's why we're saying that benefits matter, and it helps out a lot of us. So some because some of us have to work part-time, maybe when you go to college, or who knows. Extra money is always welcome, but it helps you as a person. So I started speaking in publicly and ask Jason. I couldn't say a word at first, and then at some point, I don't know if it was what's his name, Arel Moody, one of the speakers that Jason probably is gonna bring even for the winter workshops. Um, he inspired me so much, and then I was like, hey, but why am I feeling this way? This is what makes me me, and this is I still people still could understand me, and when you start talking to people, you end up seeing that it's just in your mind. I'm not saying that I don't give credit to how you're feeling, because I felt the same way. But once you talk to somebody that you might say, hey, my name is Kim. Oh, this is my first semester. That this is something that probably you guys are going to do in the next workshop next Friday to get to know each other. The other person might continue to talk to you and you'll be like, hey, but it wasn't that bad. So trust me, just give time to yourself. And if you continue to go to these workshops, again, if you feel that this is for you, they'll help you grow as a person and start speaking in public and start talking to other people. And then also when people give you a different attitude or a different approach, you won't feel oh hey, he spoke to me in a bad way, I'm gonna get a person, I'm gonna feel personal and go back to my shell. No, you might feel like, oh, maybe he's going through a hard time, and so am I. Just keep it going. So trust me, you'll get to develop your skills as you go. Don't feel bad, it takes time.
Thank you, Kevin. Um, so if there are no other questions, I want to honor your time and give you some time to do what you got to do. It's inspiring to see you all here. Thank you for those of you who came on camera. Thank you for those who asked questions. And thank you for those of you who were here and listened to what we had to say. Again, my phone is open. My door is open. You signed on the dotted line, and that means that I'm now working for you. And so I hope that we get to work together on a number of different projects throughout the course of the year. The workshop series starts in truth next week with Brian Rashid. And if you're right here on time, I think Brian's going to jump right into stuff. I'm still working on some extraordinary stuff for the rest of the fall. And then I look forward to having some of you volunteer with me for the winter to do some inventive stuff as well, especially if we're going to be back in person for those workshops in the Savoy multipurpose room, because then we're going to get some food and some other stuff. So I'm excited about that, and I look forward to meeting with you. I look forward to hearing from you, and thank you for taking this journey with us. We value you, and believe me, the college values you more than you can ever know. And so I also want to say thank you to Fevi. You know that I love you, and you're an extraordinary individual. You
Thank you.
never ever said no when an opportunity existed, and that includes to come here and speak at the orientation today. And I'm super proud to know you, and super happy for you as you achieve all of your dreams. And I hope you'll continue to come back and tell us all the extraordinary things that
You
you
you are part of those dreams, and I also appreciate your help and also being there for all of us, not only me but all of your students. And I cannot thank you enough for all of us. And you guys will find out once you get to know Jason. Jason is gonna be your best friend now. So Jason, Felicia has a question.
do. Okay.
Let me see if she typed it. Or you can unmute her.
Um,
Let me see.
yeah, Felicia, you have a question?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So I wanted to know if I could like volunteer in the SGA booth on the weekday one day, like on Tuesday next week. I don't know if you mind.
Yeah, so one of the things that you can do is, as Fevi mentioned, you can pop in and do some volunteer work at different things that we do. Since we're running the SGA booth along with the SGA, and they can't cover it all the times of the day. I do
Yeah.
hire employees to work there, and we can also have volunteers who can give volunteer hours for working at the booth. And a couple of things that we do at the booth is hand out information about the Leadership Academy, and also we're helping SGA get a survey out so that the student body can speak up and talk about what it is that they want to see happen on the campus. And so I also mentioned that I mentioned a couple of them were here before, but let me see. Layton's here, Brian's here, Elizabeth's here, Jose's here, Abby's here, Shanti's here. I think I see. And I think that's here. So, and they're all doing great work and working for you. And Kim is here, and Bridget, who was in the SJ last year. And so everybody's really working for you. So it's an opportunity to work side by side with them and to help them get the word out and get information from students about what they need.
Yeah, so I can't volunteer on Tuesday because
just just stop
I'll
by
volunteer the
my
weekend.
office, and I'll
Yeah.
set you up.
Yeah, because I know I can't do the weekends. That's why. Because I work the weekends. I work Amazon. So
Okay.
that's why.
Well, stop by the office. I'll set you up.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
All right. Are there any other questions before we go? All right. I want to wish you all a happy weekend. Thank you for being here. Hey, Fevi, again, thank you so much. And I really am looking forward to meeting each and every one of you. So don't be hesitant. You see my face. I stopped wearing a mask on the campus right now. So if you see me walking around, come up and say hi. Tell me what your name is. Say I was at the meeting. I'm excited to. And then let's get you a T-shirt so that everybody knows how special you are. As
I
part
still have those t-shirts. Let me tell you, when I don't want when I'm going to work and I don't want to wear because right now I'm doing school nursing and I don't want to wear fancy stuff or old casual. I wear those t-shirts and people ask you, well, what is that? I'm like, yeah, that was the Leadership Academy. I still had the student government and the emerging leader and the ambassador ones, the three of them. And some of the few that the one that they give us in the like cancer walk and Alzheimer walk, all of those t-shirts is my I haven't done laundry shirt, and people get to ask me and I get to share my experience. So yeah, you will use them.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. What I
Thank
try to do at the end here is say bye to everybody. So bye, Brian. Bye, Leighton. Bye, Elizabeth. Bye,
Bye
Kevin,
everyone.
You as
It
well.
was
Have a
nice
blessed
meeting
one,
you
everybody.
all.
Bye,
Thank you,
everybody.
Fevi. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye, everyone. Bye, Jason.
Karen.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
Gladys. Bye, Annie.
Bye.
So cute.
All right, just move
Thank
too
Bye.
you.
fast.
Happy
Bye.
Friday.
Bye,
Happy Friday,
Claudia. Happy
Brian.
Friday.
Take care,
Bye.
all of y'all.
Bye,
Good
Ashley. Bye,
weekend.
Rama.
Bye.
Bye, Bridget. Bridget, good to see you. Bye, Felicia. Everybody, did they get everybody? Okay, Kim. Bye, Kim. All right, I'll see you all soon. Heavy, thank you so much.
See you, boss. Take care. Have a great
Bye.
weekend.
All right, you too. Bye, everybody.